What happens when the woman who's spent her entire life pretending to be someone she's not finally runs out of people to copy? Meghan Markle's brand was built on one illusion: that she's special, unique, a voice for women everywhere. But what if the truth is far simpler and much darker? What if Meghan Markle isn't a trailblazer, but just a second-rate actress playing the role of a lifetime? For years, she's hidden behind carefully curated PR campaigns, scripted interviews, and photo ops designed to sell the world one image: Meghan, the feminist. Meghan, the humanitarian. Meghan, the victim. But now, with Netflix's With Love, Meghan's set to hit screens. The cracks in that image are starting to show. 7 failed test screening. Marketing teams fired. A trailer so disastrous that it's been downvoted into oblivion. And through it all, Meghan's excuse is always the same: it's everybody else's fault. But what if the real reason this show is flopping is because the world has finally woken up to who Meghan Markle really is? Is this the story of a misunderstood woman just trying to make her mark, or the slow, painful downfall of the most inauthentic public figure of our time? Today, we're diving deep into the show Netflix is desperately trying to bury: the shocking accusations of plagiarism, the panic behind the scenes, and the question on everyone's mind: is this the final nail in the coffin for Meghan Markle's Hollywood dream? Stay with us, because once you see what we've uncovered, you'll never look at Meghan Markle the same way again. If you're ready to see through the lies, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's expose the biggest scam in Hollywood history. With Love. Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle wanted With Love Meghan to be her Hollywood rebirth, the show that would finally silence her critics and prove she was more than just the woman who married Prince Harry. It was supposed to be her authentic self, laid bare, warm, relatable, and effortlessly chic. But instead of showing the world the real Meghan Markle, she's exposed exactly why nobody likes her in the first place. The moment that first trailer dropped, the internet tore it to shreds. And for once, the backlash had nothing to do with racism, tabloids, or the royal family. It had everything to do with the fact that Meghan Markle has built her entire life on one thing: pretending to be someone she's not. What makes this entire disaster so deliciously poetic is the timing. Just as Pamela Anderson is being showered with praise for her own lifestyle show, quietly winning over the public by simply being herself, Meghan is crashing and burning in the most humiliating way possible. And the comparison isn't just unfortunate, it's devastating. Because while Pamela's show radiates warmth, honesty, and vulnerability, With Love, Meghan is nothing but a scripted, soulless PR exercise wrapped in a cashmere sweater. Everything about it feels staged, from the way she cradles mugs of tea like she's in a Hallmark movie, to the painfully forced giggles she drops every 5 minutes, as if she's trying to convince the world she's some kind of whimsical Earth Mother. But the biggest scandal isn't the bad acting, it's the blatant plagiarism. Anyone who's watched Pamela Anderson's Garden of Eden can see exactly where Meghan got her inspiration. The soft lighting, the casual chats while arranging flowers, the whole no overhead lights rule, word for word, straight from Pamela's show. Meghan didn't just copy the vibe, she copied the entire concept and tried to pass it off as her own. But there's one key difference. Pamela's show works because she's genuine. Meghan's show flops because she's performing authenticity, and the audience can feel it. Netflix was banking on Meghan, following in the footsteps of Martha Stewart or Joanna Gaines, women who built empires by letting the world into their homes and being themselves. What they got instead was a woman so obsessed with curating her own image that she forgot the golden rule of lifestyle television. People don't want to watch perfection. They want to watch authenticity. And that's why Meghan will never connect with an audience, because she's spent her entire life hiding behind whatever persona she thinks will make people like her in that moment. Feminist Meghan, humanitarian Meghan, royal Meghan, now domestic goddess Meghan. But the problem is, there's no real Meghan underneath it all. That's why the test screenings have been an unmitigated disaster. 7 different audiences, 7 brutal rejections. The feedback was always the same. Meghan is stiff, robotic, completely unlikable. And what did Meghan do when she got the criticism? Did she listen? Did she adapt? No, she fired the entire marketing team, the same team she personally hired, and blamed them for not making her more likable. Then she hired a second marketing team, only to fire them too when they couldn't spin the disaster into gold. That's the thing about Meghan Markle. The problem is never her. It's always someone else. The crew, the editors, the audience, the haters. It's the same narcissistic pattern we've seen play out for years, from Buckingham Palace to Spotify to Netflix. Whenever something goes wrong, Meghan Markle burns through people like tissues and moves on to the next poor soul foolish enough to believe they can polish her tarnished brand. But sooner or later, the world was always going to catch on. And now, the jig is finally up. The most brutal truth in all of this? Meghan Markle is just not likable. That's the one thing she cannot stand. The fact that no matter how many PR teams she hires or how many victim narratives she spins, people just don't like her. Not because of the media, not because of the royal family, but because there's something fundamentally off-putting about her entire persona. She's cold, she's calculating, she's the kind of woman who can cry on command in front of Oprah, but couldn't muster up a single tear at the Queen's funeral. The only time she ever seems genuinely happy is when there's a camera pointed at her. Everything else feels like a performance, because it is a performance. Pamela Anderson's show proves that audiences will forgive a lot. Bad hair days, messy homes, even cringy moments, as long as they feel like they're watching someone real. But that's the one thing Meghan Markle will never be. She's been playing a part for so long, she doesn't even know who she is anymore. And that's why this Netflix show was doomed from the start. Because how can you sell authenticity when your entire personality is a patchwork of stolen ideas and scripted sound bites? The truth is, Meghan Markle has spent her entire life studying other women, watching how they move, how they talk, how they smile, and trying to copy-paste her way to success. She tried to be Princess Diana, but she didn't have the heart. She tried to be Michelle Obama, but she didn't have the brains. Now she's trying to be Martha Stewart, but she doesn't have the warmth. All that's left is this weird, hollow performance where she's constantly mimicking what she thinks a likable woman looks like without realizing the one thing every truly likable woman has is a soul. What makes this downfall even more delicious is how perfectly it fits into the long, sad history of grifters who flew too close to the sun. Wallace Simpson, Fergie, even Elizabeth Holmes, women who built entire lives on smoke and mirrors only to watch it all come crashing down. When the world finally caught on, Meghan Markle thought she could scam her way into Hollywood royalty, but all she's done is expose herself as the biggest fraud of the modern era. The only question now is how long Netflix will keep pretending there's still a market for this delusion before they quietly cut ties and dump her back into the D-list wilderness where she started. So what happens next? Because once this show flops, and let's be honest, it already has, there's nowhere left for Meghan to go. Spotify dropped her. The royals have frozen her out. The A-list celebrities who once humored her have quietly backed away. Even Oprah won't return her calls anymore. This Netflix deal was supposed to be her final lifeline, and now even they're cutting their losses. Without the palace, without the titles, without Harry as her emotional support husband, what exactly does Meghan Markle have left? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is with love Meghan just another victim of bad press? Or is this the moment the world finally sees through the Meghan Markle scam once and for all? If you're as sick of the endless excuses the fake smiles, and the never-ending victim narrative as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we keep exposing the truth behind Hollywood's biggest con artist. Because one thing is certain, Meghan Markle's long con is finally running out of time. At the heart of Meghan Markle's downfall isn't just a bad TV show, it's the slow unraveling of a woman who's built her entire life on lies. With Love, Meghan was supposed to be her triumphant comeback, the show where the world would finally fall in love with the real Meghan Markle. But instead, it's exposed what so many of us have been saying for years. There is no real Meghan Markle, just a hollow shell, pieced together from stolen ideas, fake smiles, and carefully curated PR stunts. Pamela Anderson's comeback has proven that the secret to winning back the public isn't about expensive production teams or Instagram-perfect homes. It's about being yourself. But that's exactly what Meghan will never understand. Because how can you show the world your authentic self when you've spent your entire life pretending to be someone else? With 7 failed test screenings, 2 marketing teams fired, and Netflix quietly backing away, it feels like the curtain is finally starting to close on the Meghan Markle illusion. But the question now is, what happens when the smoke and mirrors are gone? What happens to a woman who's spent her entire life chasing the spotlight, when there's no audience left to clap? Do you think with Love, Meghan is just another victim of bad press? Or is this the final proof that Meghan Markle's entire brand was built on smoke and mirrors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, because the more people speak out, the harder it becomes for the media to keep protecting the biggest scam in Hollywood. If you're tired of the endless excuses, the fake victim narratives, and the PR circus that never seems to end, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we keep exposing the truth behind Meghan Markle's toxic empire. The truth always comes out eventually, and this time, there's nowhere left for Meghan Markle to hide. We'll see you in the next video.